When I was 19, I worked a graveyard shift at a tiny 24-hour gas station on the edge of the highway. Nights were usually dead quiet. I'm talking, sometimes I'd go a whole hour without seeing a single car. It was just me, the hum of the refrigerators, and the endless dark outside. One night, around 2:45 the silence was broken. An older man stumbled inside. His hands were shaking, and he kept looking over his shoulder like he was being chased. He grabbed my arm, and his grip was surprisingly strong. He leaned in close and whispered, "You're not alone in here." I figured he was drunk or just having a rough night, so I pulled my arm away. But then he pointed a trembling finger at the security monitors behind me. "Watch your hallway camera," he said, his voice cracking before he practically ran out of the store. I tried to brush it off. You get all sorts of strange customers on the night shift. But I couldn't shake his words. Curiosity got the better of me, and I glanced up at the bank of screens. The hallway camera, the one pointed down the narrow passage to the stockroom, was flickering. The motion sensor light in that hallway kept turning on and off in perfect rhythmic intervals. It was like someone was pacing back and forth just out of the camera's view. Except the hallway was completely empty. Telling myself it was just a faulty sensor, I decided to check it out. I walked toward the back, my footsteps echoing in the silence. Halfway down the hall, I felt it. A sudden, sharp coldness, so intense it felt like walking into a meat locker. I spun around, nothing, just an empty, dimly lit hallway. When I got back to the counter, the flickering on the monitor was worse. The feed glitched for just a split second, but it was long enough. For that one instant, I saw a tall, dark shape standing in the hallway. And it was facing the camera. A moment later, the image snapped back to the empty hall. The lights in the store began to flicker. The air felt heavier, thick, and oppressive. A low ringing started in my ears. And then the automatic doors at the entrance slid open. Those doors only ever opened when a person or a car passed through the sensor. But nobody came in. They just stood open, gaping into the blackness of the night. My hand was shaking as I called my manager. He told me to stay put until my shift ended at 6 a.m. It's probably just a wiring issue. He insisted, his voice drowsy with sleep. Yeah, a wiring issue, right. 20 minutes later, I was still glued to the monitors, my heart pounding in my chest. The hallway camera glitched again. This time the figure was closer. Much, much closer. So close that its head was just barely out of the frame. I could see its shoulders now. But something was wrong with their shape, like they were too long, too stretched. Like bones were sticking out where they shouldn't be. The camera feed flickered one last time and then cut to pure black. When the image finally came back, the figure wasn't in the hallway anymore. And in that exact same moment, I felt hot breath on the back of my neck. I spun around so fast I knocked my chair over, but there was nothing there. The air was still icy cold, though. And heavy. Like someone very large had been standing right behind me just a second ago. Weeks later, the older man, the one who warned me, came back. It was during the day this time. I asked him what he saw that night. At first, he refused to even talk about it. He just shook his head. But then he finally looked at me, his eyes wide with a fear I now understood. He said, "I saw something standing behind you while you were at the register. Something tall. Something wrong. I quit that same day. I couldn't spend another night in that place. But sometimes, even now, when I'm in a dark hallway or a quiet room, I feel it again, that cold pressure behind me. Like something is standing too close, watching, waiting, and every now and then, I swear I hear the sound of those automatic gas station doors sliding open in my dreams. Only in those dreams, something always walks in.